Welcome back to the Cyclone Fanatic pregame show. I'm your host, Leah Nelson, alongside Chris Williams. As always, we're in the Wild Rose Casino studio, and we've got a lot to talk about for the upcoming game, Iowa State versus UCF. Chris, how are you feeling?
I'm great. Cyclones are the 9th-ranked team in the country. Every team at Iowa State is like ranked in the top 10 right now. This is great. This is I've been doing this 20 years. And nothing compares to this. There were a lot of lean times, and very happy to be here doing this with you today.
Yeah, I don't know what it feels like to lose, so it feels.
I do, and this is a lot better.
This is a lot better.
Speaking from an actual loser, I've lost a lot more than I've won. So no, this is great. Good to have you. And let's talk about it. Let's get after it.
Well, before we talk about it, let's thank a few of our sponsors.
Let's do it.
Start off with Fairway Meat Market in Ames. Again, we have a big day on Saturday, so make sure you stop by Fairway to grab all of your meat needs.
Mm-hmm. That Fairway Meat Market too. They've always got cool sides.
Yeah, so it's you don't just have to get the main.
No, they got everything for the tailgate. They'll have like the stuffed mushrooms. They got like the seafood. It's great.
It's perfect.
One-stop shop. They got booze, liquor, wine. Everything's in there. You don't need to go anywhere else.
Like you said, one-stop shop.
Yeah.
Everyone at your tailgate will love you, so it's perfect. So make sure you stop there. And then also shout out to our friends over at McFarland Clinic. Dr. Greenwald and Dr. Warmy, they've been killing it. Lots of injuries, obviously.
Oh, they've had a busy year.
Yeah, they've had a busy year, but no one better to help out the Cyclones.
But they've still got the Cyclones undefeated, and I give it all to Dr. Greenwald and Dr. Warmy. It's all on them. Shout out to those guys. They've been supporting us for a really long time here. I also, real quick, I want to throw this out there because this is really cool. I want to make sure people are paying attention to this. This month, the Aer Lingus College Football Classic, we've been promoting that here. They are giving away a trip for two to Ireland. They're giving it away. You can go to cyclones2ireland.com/win. Again, cyclones2ireland.com/win. The winner gets 2 round-trip airfares for 2 on Aer Lingus, a 3-night stay in Dublin, and 2 tickets to the game. That's a great deal. And it's only Iowa State fans who will be entering this. So this isn't like one of those stupid nationwide where they're going to pull one person out of 5 million. Like somebody listening to this or watching this is probably going to win this. Cyclones2ireland.com/win.
That's a no-brainer. Why wouldn't you do that?
Go sign it up. Just like it is. We're just going to do all the ads right now. And then we're going to get into the game. My buddies, Centurion Stone of Iowa. Get your stone fireplace, any of that good stuff. Stone patio, anything to do with stone, decorative stone. They are your guys and gals. Shout out to my gal Stacy, who's there as well. I can't forget her. Centurion Stone of Iowa with showrooms in Des Moines and also over in Omaha. A lot of Nebraskans, Western Iowans who pay attention to us here on Cyclone Fanatic. So, Leah Nelson, I give the floor to you. Where do you want to start with this game?
Let's start off with the question I always ask. What can we expect from UCF on Saturday?
Running-based team. They are really physical. And again, this would be the second home game in a row where we don't 100% know the quarterback situation of the opponent. We had a pretty good idea with Baylor, and we were right. I have a pretty good idea that it's going to be this Brown kid who played most of the game. He comes from Miami. Ja'Cory Brown is his name. They've benched their starter from the season, from the beginning of the season, KJ Jefferson, who was a transfer from Arkansas. I don't know the situation there. He wasn't playing great, but they completely benched him in the last game where they lost to Cincinnati. They played a true freshman, and then they played Brown. I thought Brown looked really good. I watched that game last night. I thought that he was really elusive in the run game. He does have a pretty good arm where he can take it downfield. And I must say, I do think Iowa State's defense will give him a lot of problems as far as seeing the field. It's tricky the way Iowa State's secondary moves around. But I do think that this kid gives them the best chance to come in and compete with Iowa State because of how he can extend the game with his legs. They have an elite running back, but clearly a team that's struggling Leah. They've had 6 guys transfer out in the last 14 days. They have lost 3 in a row. They don't generally play well away from home. So you add all that up, and it's a big advantage to Iowa State. But UCF plays a style of ball that is, they slow it down enough. They can run the ball. Like, they're a top 25 rush offense in college football. And if you can do that, you can keep games close. And if you can keep a game close, you know, you can sometimes pull off the upset. So the Iowa State second level, and I've said this for like 4 weeks in a row now, and it remains to be the same, they'll have a good challenge as far as the rushing attack. However, we saw that with West Virginia last week, and the fellas did an awesome job against that. So kind of similar as offensively to what they saw last week against West Virginia.
So we talked a little bit earlier about injuries. What do we know about Iowa State on the injury front?
Well, it's Matt Campbell, so we truly don't know anything. We know nothing. Listen, it's weird that I'm not even that overly concerned about it going into this game. Not that I'm being disrespectful to Central Florida. It's not that at all. I just, like at some point, am I an idiot for continuing to bring this up? Like, am I just,
no.
Well, you see my point though. Like,
right.
they just keep bringing these guys in and they keep doing a great job.
Right.
So clearly they're being coached up. Like, now if Rylan Barnes, who's like the 4th or 5th string dude, gets hurt, like, okay, like, who the hell's after him, right? I don't know. I literally, after that first series at West Virginia on Saturday night when Ellis and who was the other linebacker? Oh, Ebel went out. He came back in, thank God. I looked up, I pulled out the roster. I don't ever need the roster. I know these guys. And I'm like, who the hell else do they have? Like, do they have any other linebackers on this roster? And this Barnes kid, just one of the great stories that I've seen doing this at Iowa State. Just a neat deal. Really happy for him. It sounds like his family, and they're just nutty Iowa State fans their whole lives. So this kid's dream come true, putting on the uniform on Saturdays. He's doing a great job. So, like, I absolutely think Iowa State can win with these guys that they've got out there. I really feel more comfortable if number 9, Brazina, gets back into the lineup just because of the stout nature in which Central Florida is going to be there. But to give you like a real injury update, the fact that Brazina's been suiting up, and he did play on Saturday night at West Virginia, just not a lot, that's encouraging. I would guess 41 Barnes is going to be the guy, though. I mean, if you can do that, and if you're Iowa State and you can get Brazina healthy during the bye week, then I think you go that route. But yeah, it's funny. I get asked about injuries all the time, and I don't know. Like, they don't update us, and when they do update us, they generally lie about it because they don't want the opposing team to know. So that's my read on it, at least, that I think we'll see Cale Brazina. I just don't know how much, but I'm cool with this Barnes. Yeah, I'm cool with this Barnes guy playing. Like, he played really well last week. He was one of the best guys on the defense. So let's go. I'm suiting up with the walk-on. I'm in.
Me too. I'm suiting up.
And it helps too. Like, and this is another reason why I'm not that concerned now against this particular team, at least, because they're not going to test you in 2 ways too much. But Iowa State is good up front. They're not great. They're good. They're like a 7 out of 10 up front, maybe an 8. They're a 10 out of 10 in the secondary.
Right.
So when you have that in front of you and behind you, it makes the job of the linebackers so much easier. So Iowa State and the linebackers coach and the coordinators can just tell these freshmen, hey, just go and hit the quarterback. Just go and get who has the ball. There's more to it than that. But you see what I'm saying? Yeah. They take a lot less pressure on a running back when you've got that secondary behind you. Or on a linebacker, not a running back, excuse me.
Right. And sometimes these games are easy to overlook. So on a scale from 1 to 10, not to be negative here, but 10 being the most, where is Iowa State on the upset alert going into this game? It's a tough question.
I would say, how about a 4?
Okay.
Only because Iowa State would have to screw up a lot, like fumble, just do some stuff like that. Just because I don't know what you're going to get from Central Florida. Like, I think if Central Florida plays a 10 and Iowa State plays a 5, Iowa State could lose the game because there's just not that big of a difference in these Big 12 teams, in my mind. Like, the best team isn't that much better than the worst team. And they have good players. Like, they recruit well. They got all. But the problem is, I worry with them about what in the hell is going on in their program. Why are all these guys transferring? You've lost 3 in a row. So, in like from a matchup standpoint, this isn't a team that really puts the fear of God in me if I'm an Iowa State fan. It's not that type of a team. Baylor scared me a lot more because I knew the athletes that they had on the outside, that type of thing. So, the only thing, it's like they play such a gross, grinded out style that this is a deal where if you turn it over a couple times and they don't at all, they could bite you, because I think this game will be 1 or 2 possessions most of the game. And if it's like that, then anything can happen. So as long as Iowa State plays clean, I don't think they're getting upset. If, and weird things happen in football, maybe you throw a couple of interceptions or whatever. The problem is they're a turnover machine too. Like they had a pretty good game, I thought, offensively when they played Cincinnati, but they turned it over twice in the red zone. Like, that was the difference in that game. So I don't think Iowa State looks past them. There's nothing like that in my mind. I do not worry about that with this program. It's kind of like playing Iowa without like an elite defense that you're going against and a disciplined offense. But that's the type of thing. It's like, how many times have you watched that Iowa team in the last 10 years? It's just where they're not that good, but they shorten these games. And the problem for Central Florida is that Iowa State's going to try and do the same thing. So not contrasting styles at all, and that's why I'm not overly concerned about it.
So you don't think they're going to have any hard time focusing?
No, I don't. Do you?
I don't know. I go back and forth, and I ask that because sometimes when you have a team that you should win, like obviously Iowa State is a double-digit favorite, and then you have like a bye week the next week, and then you have Texas Tech. It's just like sometimes you just think so much past that next game, and then it's like, oh crap.
I get it. I
don't know. I go back and forth.
Here's where I think that from an Iowa State standpoint, you're right, because that's just human psychology that you just referenced, like that. But the problem, here's why I don't think that'll be a deal with this team, is because they've been like their Iowa State football, like they're supposed to suck.
Yeah.
Like none of these guys went to Iowa State. Like usually when that happens, I feel like it's it's a higher ranked team that has been told how good they are forever. Yeah. But it is possible. I mean, you're looking at all this stuff and people are making plans to go to the college football playoff.
Right.
And these are 19-year-olds that read Twitter, and so there's an element of that. I think that there's a certain level of, hard hat that comes with playing football at Iowa State where I don't know if I'll say this. Iowa State football or basketball or softball, we are not entitled to beat anybody, and you got to go out there and earn it. And I promise you, and I haven't looked this up, but if you just went by like stars and like recruiting rankings, it would tell you that Central Florida is the more talented team on Saturday. Are they the better team? I certainly do not believe so. And Iowa State, and again, I'm talking about when they were recruited. Right. Iowa State has developed these guys to be really good players, and I think anybody who looks at the rosters now would say, yeah, Iowa State's better. But the experts back then would have said the Central Florida team is the more talented roster. So that's where I'm like, I just know how Campbell is too. Like, I've just been around that guy too much, and I would be shocked if they overlooked them.
I think so too.
Crap happens in football, and don't fumble it on the 5-yard line. Don't do dumb things, because that's when these upsets happen, right? When you do crap like that early, and then the other team gets some confidence, and that's where it starts to get nuts.
I think we're both on the same page here.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I would say this to the fans though, And the fans don't matter. I hate it when fans tell me like, "Oh, don't talk about that. You're going to jinx it." That's not real. There's no such thing as a jinx. That does not happen. What me and Leah are talking about on the pregame show has nothing to do on the outcome of the game in any scenario.
1000%. Just
Okay.
everyone.
Stop telling me to not talk about. It's my job to talk about all of this stuff. Like whatever. The fans, I do think, have to realize too, and I think Iowa State's the best team in the league. But I don't think that like the difference between Iowa State and the fourth place team, whoever that would be, is that stark. So like to just expect to go out and blow out UCF by 28, I think is kind of insane. It could happen. Like I get a lead on this team, they might quit. Baylor, I thought, quit in the fourth quarter of that game.
Yeah.
They didn't want to be there anymore. And that very well could happen. But I think more of these games will be like, even the games you win comfortably would be more like last week where it's boring in the fourth quarter. But if you just looked at it, it's like, that's not a blowout, right? And I just don't know how much difference there is between West Virginia and Central Florida, or between, Arizona State and Kansas State. Like, I think all these teams are so darn similar that every week you should kind of be on upset alert because of that very reason.
One last question before we get into score predictions, but what is Iowa State's number one key to getting to become 7-0?
Stopping the run. It's so boring, but that's what they do. And listen, this kid, this Brown, he's never played in a spot like this, and it's really becoming a theme of this Iowa State season. If you can get these teams down by 2 scores early and make them throw the ball, they're going to turn it over. And I don't see any reason why this will be any different. So stop. My point is, if you let them run all over you, which given what we've seen with Iowa State's defense, they probably will in the first possession. UCF's probably going to go down there and score. And then they'll make adjustments. And if you can stop the run and make them throw, good things will happen for Iowa State. I would say that. And also, and Matt Campbell talked about this in his press conference this week, these slow starts it was better last week. The offense was much better at the start last week. But the defense, like I'm talking about, it's just been slow. And then I just truly believe if you can get this team down 14-0 in the first quarter, I think 1, they'll quit. And I think 2, that's when a blowout happens, because UCF will not just be able to hand the ball off and do what they want to do. When they start dropping that guy back, you're looking at a 3-interception type game if you can do that. So stop the run first and foremost. If you can get a good lead on them early, this thing could be a track meet and you could blow them out. Or it's just going to be Campbell boring us all to sleep at the end of the game, just running the clock out, which would be great. I'm all for it.
Either or, as long as we win.
Just win. Yeah. Just win, baby. Get 7-0. Ooh, that sounds good.
7-0. That's literally crazy.
Yeah,
so what's your
to the old Cyclone fans that have been around forever?
How old are those Cyclone fans?
There's these guys who are out there that went to the old stadium. They tell me all the time. They come up to me and they tell me about how many years they've had season tickets. Y'all deserve this. This is fun. I hope you're enjoying it.
Yes. Old people.
Old people. We love the old people here on
Yes, I love old people too.
Absolutely. I'm one of them now. So this is
No,
great.
you aren't. You still have a couple years. How old are you? 40?
40.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. See, I'm there.
Well, 40 just sounds old.
Yeah, I know it does. Tell me about it.
Like in my head, it's fine, but it does sound old.
It sounds really old. It feels even worse.
It feels even worse. So what's your score prediction for Saturday?
I went 27-17.
Okay.
Iowa State. I don't think, I really don't know if Central Florida will score that much, if I'm being honest with you. I might change it. I might go 27-10-ish.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't think Iowa State will cover, though. 27-17. I'll stay right there. I think Central Florida will get theirs early, and then Iowa State's got a touchdown lead at halftime, pulls away in the second half. Feels like, to me, it will not feel like a game in much of the second half, but the scoreboard may not 100% indicate that. But again, I'll give the preface, if Iowa State can get up early, I think that they could blow this team out. But They got to do that first. I just think Central Florida is going to be so boring, just running the ball, trying to run the damn clock, that it's going to be hard to blow them out. What about you? Where are you at?
Well, I think it's the same as last week because I was kind of close. 34-17.
I would take that. Yeah. Yeah. Did you have fun playing bingo? We missed you. You were the bingo.
Which
you're
going to have to,
gal.
Yeah, you're going to have to miss me this week too. I'm just booked and busy. I'm not doing bingo again, but.
You going to the game?
No, I'm going up to Minneapolis.
Oh, okay. That sounds horrible.
That's all right. But bingo was a blast. Everyone was having fun. We were giving out CF bottles of bourbon for the fourth quarter.
Did you try some?
No, but I got a bottle. So eventually I will.
Yeah,
but everyone was going crazy for him.
It's good stuff. Yeah, they do a great job over at Mississippi River Distilling. I was glad that you were able to go over and help them, and
it was so fun.
Very cool. Well, thanks, Leah. Appreciate your time as always. And for people asking, Leah's going to be part of our basketball coverage too.
Are people asking?
Yeah, they want more Leah. They want more Leah, of course. Yeah, we're actually going to put that schedule together next week, so we'll be in touch. Go Cyclones. She's Leah Nelson. I'm Chris Williams. Thanks for hanging out. Join me at halftime and also right after the game. And hopefully we'll be talking about an Iowa State victory 7-0, where we can all put our feet up and relax during the bye week. That is the plan. See you guys later. We'll see you at halftime.
Bye.